morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, December 11th, creeping up closer to Christmas. Coming in with a Wednesday episode, so we'll touch on some of the other sports other than football and college football. Happy Wednesday, AJ.
Yeah, thanks, man. Another wonderful day in central Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Enjoying
today
some
was
nice December rain.
it's terrible. It was cold, rainy, and windy. I'm sure you saw my snap. I got stuck outside at work today, and it just was like the worst. It was just gray and dark. It felt like evening and like 11 a.m.
If it were colder, it would have been snow,
Which would be worse. So I
which
wish it
would
would
be
have just been
better.
warmer and it would have been nice out.
No.
I
No.
made the mistake tonight too. We were like, "Hey, let's do something fun. Let's go to the mall to like see if there's Santa and just like walk around, do the whole like take a picture, we'll send it to Santa kind of thing. Like just like kill some time, let them kind of burn some energy." And then I always just mess up, and then I was like, "No, let's take it a step further. Let's go to Park City. Like that's a bigger mall. There'll be
Oh,
lots of Christmas stuff going
okay.
on. It's like an hour drive. Like no big
Yeah.
deal. So let's just run down there real quick." Stuck in traffic. Didn't get across the Harrisburg Bridge until like 45 minutes into the trip. So then it still was like 50 minutes away at that point. It was like 45 minutes away. So we get there, and then, of course, both kids were just the worst behavior possible tonight. And so right away, Kelly and I were like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, why did we even bother? So yeah,
That's
so
a
that's yeah,
choice.
so yeah, it was very much so a choice where I was like, what a gloomy, shitty day. Let me cheer it up by getting stuck in the car with them and them also hating the day. And yeah, so just yeah, today was quite a shitty day though, with the cold, rainy deadness of it. But yeah, we have basketball on that at least. That's
We do, yeah.
always a little bit of light.
Yeah. We'll start with wrapping up the NFL week.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so we were offline before the Chargers Chiefs game ended. So,
Which rarely ever
spoiler
happens.
alert, the Chiefs
Chiefs
ended.
win. Yeah.
The Chiefs won on a crazy doinked field goal through the
The moment it
uprights.
doinked, like usually when it doinks, you immediately go, okay, it's coming back. As
Yeah,
soon as it hit, I was like, it's going in. It's
yeah,
going in. Like it's careening right into the like. There's no way it's not.
yeah. So the only question you can take away is at what point is this no longer luck and it's just how they win football games?
Yeah, I don't even know that it's necessarily like luck. It's just like it's just like they and it's not even like they find a way to win or like the Raiders dropping a ball. Like I mean, I guess like overflowing the Broncos like field goal line, like that was a smart play. Like they knew that guy was weak, like whatever, like that one's fair. But for the rest of it, like a lot of these are just like yeah, I thought so. Yeah, a lot of these are just like they're just odd. Like and then people
Yeah,
immediately. I hate when people go to like things are rigged. Like
right,
when it was pretty much like as growing up, once you start to realize that people have like family members that have played in these leagues, and like for me it's always like how do you rig something and like you're gonna make this last shot, the last 3-pointer of a basketball game, it's gonna go in
right.
and then the Warriors win by one. Like what if they miss? Now the script is wrong. Like
Yeah,
that has always been for me. I'm like, how do you rig something like that? So
right.
but yeah, so that's me. So anytime someone's like, "Oh, the Chiefs are winning because it's rigged and the refs are on their side," like I don't think the refs, any of them are Chiefs fans. None of them are from Missouri. Like you know what I mean? Like it's super goofy to go like
Yeah,
that. But yeah, there's something there. Like, is it luck or is it just game management? Does Andy just know what he's doing? Like,
yeah. I
yeah, I don't
just
know. It's just I'm sick of seeing him win though. That's for damn sure.
yeah, I can imagine being in their
In
division.
their
It's
division,
rough.
yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
team that I've hated that's never really been that good, like for the
yeah,
last 20 years, and now they're just the new Patriot dynasty. And like that was the
right,
thing too, is the Broncos like had this weird head-to-head rivalry with the Patriots, where we were like one of their
right.
enemies, and now we get to like we just are the enemy of the fucking best team ever twice in a row. So yeah, that's been really cool to
Yeah,
just be little brother to that. But
yeah. That's one way to describe it.
yeah, it's
So
tough. But
yeah,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. Good for them. They're now breaking their own record with
yeah,
the
oh yeah,
most one possession wins in a row. I think they're up to 16 straight games now. They've won in one possession games. So
that's crazy.
look, they're doing something right. I don't know exactly what it is, but they're doing something right.
Yeah, and that's like
Um,
Patrick said, like you don't want to be in this situation. Like
right.
you want to blow people out. Like
Yeah.
that's like it's not fun if you do it all the time because then like what's the point, I guess. But like yeah, you want to have some games where you're like, okay, we got this game in the bag. Like you don't want
Yeah.
to be sweating from the first to the fourth quarter.
Yeah. So here's what it is. Pick up Monday night. The Bengals head on down to Dallas. Wrong theme song though, because they went with The Simpsons, not South Park, but that's okay. The Simpsons game was cool, as expected.
Yeah,
And then, as expected, was the game. Um, a close game against two
two shit.
average teams at best. Um, uh oh. Oh, oh. we've been having some computer issues tonight, so uh, we'll see if Dane gets back in here. But yeah, we had the Bengals and the Cowboys. Bengals did win that 27-20, I believe. He is back.
Am I back?
I hear you. You appear to be back. I see your audio going up and down, so that's good.
Do you see me?
Yeah, I see you.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I don't know what
Nope.
happened there. Yet again, for me, it showed me that you were leaving. You said "uh oh" again, and I was like, "Now what's?" I looked up at sports, and I was like, "Wait, we're watching two different games." And then I looked back at you, and you disappeared, and I was like, "It's got to be me." So I had to jump out and back in. So
Yeah,
tech issues as usual.
yeah, it shit happens. Um, so yeah, that wraps up the Monday night game. Do you have anything you want to mention about it?
No, it was. I feel like Monday night is not the night to do it. I don't like the Monday night layover game thing. Like the one time they did the Toy Story
Oh,
game, I
the
feel like it
Simpsons
was.
game.
I think it was a
Okay.
9:30 game. Like it was one of the London games
Yes,
or
it was.
something.
Yeah,
The
the Toy Story
Toy
game
Story
was.
one. So I think like that's a good idea because everyone with kids are up that fucking early anyway. So
Yeah,
like
for
might
sure.
as well. Like that gives us a double reason to be able to sit down and watch the game and chill for a morning. So
Yeah,
Monday night I didn't love. I usually weirdly enough don't watch the Manning cast. I don't know why as much of a I'm a pay per
I
view
don't enjoy it
diehard.
either.
I just like it's like overstimulating because like you're hearing the commentary, you're also hearing them, and like you're trying to watch, but like they're talking about random, like you're listening to a podcast during the football game,
Yeah,
kinda. So yeah, like I'll catch some clips at the end, like some fun things that have been said or whatever. But yeah, I don't really enjoy watching it for whatever reason. I decided to torture myself last night, and I was like, well, I want to watch the Manning cast for some reason. Belichick's on, like I want to watch it.
yeah,
But then I was like, well, I need them to know that I'm watching the Simpsons game. Like I gotta add in numbers for that. So I put the Simpsons game up on my phone with the volume, and so I was sitting here playing Red Dead, listening to both, and I was like, okay, I am going to lose my mind if I keep doing this. So I had to mute the Simpsons, but I at least had it up, so I was watching and like following
yeah,
along. And it's a couple plays behind, so you can kind of review and get the replay, but Simpsons overlay. So
yeah,
I mean, yeah, as usual, it's cool. I think they should keep doing it if it's not that extra for them to do and it's worthwhile. Like if it can't be
yeah. I have
that
no idea.
expensive, but whatever,
I
however it
definitely
plays
agree with
out,
you. When they have the early kickoff games, though, the kids
that's
are
definitely when they
awake.
should do it. Yeah,
That's
that's
their
definitely
prime
when they do
time
it.
to be
Yes.
watching football.
Yeah.
Not in the afternoon when you're hitting nap times,
Yeah.
and
No, no, no.
then
First
into
thing
the
in the
evening
morning.
before
Yeah.
dinner and bed. And yeah, Monday night game was not the
Yeah,
right
you
move
wake up,
there.
you get breakfast, and you're in that perfect lull of like, all right, what are we gonna do for the morning before the day starts? Like, boom, 9:30, we got football game. You guys get to watch Toy Story or do a Bluey layover. You're gonna catch a whole generation of kids. Like,
Yeah,
that's so sick. Watching Bluey run down the field, stiff arm and Pingo. Like, yeah, give you some of that. So
yeah. Unfortunately, Disney doesn't own those rights, but
then they can
um,
share. Disney started to stream. Well, Disney streamed the Simpsons game, so
right,
that's
because
it.
they own the
Yeah, they own the
Simpsons.
Simpsons, right?
Yeah,
That's yeah. But it
they
just
own
like
Toy Story and Pixar and all
it was
that. So
odd
yeah,
to click on Disney and see football. It was like watch live now, and I was like,
yeah,
that's such a weird feeling. And I was like, I do want to watch it though, so sign me up.
yeah. Moving right along, we'll jump into college basketball. I am currently watching the Michigan game. They're taking on the Razorbacks of Arkansas. So they're entering the chat with a 8-1 record, although they're currently losing. So we'll see how it stands. But it's exciting as a Michigan fan first, and then also UNC just kind of fumbled the bag this year so far. So we're no longer ranked as we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
Um,
that's tough to see. It's always when you click top 25 and you don't see UNC, like you just know it's gonna be a long year. It's just
yeah,
like, damn, like. But like we said off air, like the only thing we have to do though is beat Duke. If we're having a
right.
bad year, we at least still have a Super Bowl, which is
Yeah,
like one of the best things about that rivalry is that you can be terrible, but you still get a Super Bowl every year.
similar to Michigan, Ohio State. Yeah,
Yeah, like yeah, they were
yeah,
dog shit this year, but it was like, hey, we know how to stay, like fuck yeah,
right.
like we had a
Yeah,
great year, like, and you just kind
yeah,
of forget about the fact that they were bad all year. So yeah,
yeah,
Michigan could have 2 wins all year, and if it was home and away at Duke, I'm like, okay, cool, well, we beat Duke twice that year, so like,
yeah.
how dog shit were we? That
Right.
they're worse than we are. Like, yeah, you just get to play the semantics of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll always
Um,
take that.
but I put a note here because I look at the top 10 and I'm just like, what? Like you look at these schools,
It's so odd.
yeah, like Tennessee, Iowa State being ranked third, like Auburn too, Marquette at six. Like
Yep.
it's just one of these years, and honestly, I think it's for all sports. I can't remember a
Yes,
year where sports have just
there's
been this wild. Like
all over the place.
yeah, like you just have teams that you're like, oh, like where did they come from?
Yep. That's yeah,
Um,
and honestly, like I think for me too is like a big thing is that it's not even the teams that are in there. Like the Iowa States every now and then makes sense. Like they made it to a Final Four, I think, last year or the year before,
Yeah.
or an Elite Eight at least. Like Marquette, every now and then they're good. Like you expect Duke, you expect Kentucky. Like Tennessee
Right.
is kind of a surprise being one. Like that's kind of crazy. You know your Kansas is going to be in there, the Oklahomas.
Mm-hmm.
But like Indiana being out, UNC being out, Georgia being out, Texas being out, like Missouri being out, like all of those teams just being like way out of there. Like that's just like that's what
Yeah.
feels crazy this year. Is like a lot of the big teams are missing.
Yeah. And then I think this plays into college basketball as well, because of the conference realignments, although it's much bigger in football. It's just like you're seeing these big games just week after week after week. And we're now getting that in college basketball too, because again,
It's
these
time.
big schools
It's time.
combined, they're hitting their conference schedules, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah,
So
we had talked about it coming in January, and it felt like it was forever away because I think we had talked about it sometime during October, and it was
yeah,
like because the NBA season was starting, we were like, we'll get to college basketball whenever that comes, and like now it's here. It's
right,
like now
yeah,
it's prime time. Like yeah, you said you were watching Michigan, I was like, shit, I should turn that on, but
yeah. You watch an NBA, right?
yeah, I'm watching
Yeah,
the NBA Cup right now. I have the Thunder and the Mavericks on right now. Thunder up
gotcha,
3 with 5 to go in the second. So.
gotcha. Yeah, so good segue. Drop us into NBA. Tell me what's going on.
Yeah, so right now, just like a handful of really high level notes, but the NBA Cup is the main focus right now because they're in their quarterfinals. So the Bucks are the first team to advance. They're going to Vegas, so they're in the semifinals. They are going to play the winner of the Knicks and the Hawks, and then right now the Thunder and the Mavericks are playing. They will play the winner of the Rockets and the Warriors, and the championship is on the 17th in Vegas. So we have 1 week away, and we'll have everything decided. Um, right now, this game's on. Tomorrow night is the Rockets Warriors and the Knicks Hawks, and then Saturday are the semifinals, and then the 17th is the championship. So excuse me. So NBA Cup is wrapping up. Again, it feels like the ratings are down. Like it feels like people aren't paying attention again. But the NBA Cup is what they're trying to do to draw people in and get excitement mid-season. Because 82
It's
is just such
working
a
real
long.
well.
Yeah, I don't know if it is. Cause I feel like I watched less with the NBA Cup than what I did without it. Because like it's like with the NBA Cup, as soon as I missed the first little bit, I'm like, all right, well I don't really know who's where, but like I do because I'm paying attention to it. But
Yeah,
it feels like if you're not watching every game, like what's the point of paying attention to it? But I don't. It's an odd feeling with how they did it. But
yeah.
I mean, I appreciate the effort that they put in to try to
They
fix everything. But
look. They may their ratings may be down this year, but they're not afraid to try things.
Yes, 100.
That's
percent Yeah, baseball
like
is well. We're the older tradition, and
yeah,
the NFL has got to go through 1,000 loops to do it. The NBA will, the drop of a hat, change some shit if Twitter said so. Like they will
right.
respond, and I appreciate that. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like good for them.
I
So
gotta give credit where it's due, and that's definitely
yeah,
due.
yeah, they do.
So
So yeah, anytime they're down, they're not gonna be down for long because they're gonna make some changes. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, with that being said, too, that was one of the points we wanted to make. We had talked about with, I believe it was Jason Whitlock. It was on his podcast that they had said, like the NBA has shifted into being the dead league. The NFL is turning into the NBA. That less people are caring about it because it's more parity, and that college football is going to become the new NFL. And like that's why Bill Belichick is talking to UNC and made the comment about coaching at a college program the other day on a podcast. Like I believe it was on the McAfee podcast, but yeah. So there's just
yeah.
like a lot going on right now that college football seemingly is like in the big news part of things. But I mean, what do you think? You think college football takes over popularity over the NFL?
I don't.
I
Um,
don't.
I
I feel
I
like that's a super hot take.
yeah. It's I can't. I can't imagine it taking over. I can see it being competitive, but never a full on takeover. Just that's not in the cards, in my opinion.
Yeah. I just don't see that that's something that they could do because the NFL is just always the powerhouse, and like
Yeah,
that's why most of the other leagues, it feels like other leagues can show up. Like if they wanted to create a new like baseball league, they probably could. There's probably a bunch if I would assume. But like the NFL, anytime there's that XFL or whatever, the NFL is just like nah, like we're
yeah,
not gonna do that. So and like Ice Cube's Big Three, like the NBA kind of has refused to market that at anyway because it's not their
yeah,
product, and so they're just like, nope, we won't even like we're not even gonna look over there, and so it's this like super awkward relationship now where like it could have been like a perfect thing for like veteran players to just move right into the Big Three and kind
yeah,
of get signed or traded and stuff. Like yeah, it could have been such a great thing, but um Other than that, just a couple other quick notes. Anthony Edwards, he's one of my favorite players to watch. He's young, he's fun, he's bouncy, he can dunk,
Yeah.
he can shoot, he plays defense, he talks, like he's
The
just he's
Timberwolves,
vibrant.
right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
very very exciting to play. Um, got fined the other day for profanity. Just does not give a shit. Just absolutely doesn't care. Says whatever he wants and all of his post game stuff. Talks shit on the court, like to pros, like to vets. Like it's a good time. Um, Chris Paul became second in assists all time. He is behind John Stockton. However, there's a lot of the rumors going around now that Jordan's stats were super padded, but some of his rebounds and stuff that
Yeah.
things that wouldn't really be a rebound in any realm were counted as a rebound, and people on certain teams would count more at home. And it's just
Yeah.
like a lot of the 80s and 90s stats are now being like fine combed, and people are finding some errors. So with that being said, John Stockton's insane assist record. It's another one of those ones where like James Harden's never gonna reach Steph in threes. Like that was legitimate. We all watched that happen. But
Right.
like Chris Paul becoming second in assists feels a little bit like holy shit he's first because like Stockton's might not be fucking real. But like I mean Stockton could pass. Like all respect where it's due. But it just doesn't. Yeah, it always feels like when you. I didn't get to watch those games. I didn't get to experience it. And
Yeah.
just watch him year after year, being like, dude, that dude can pass. And it's like I didn't get to see it, so I'm just taking the word for it. But
So, just a quick note about that. I think we talked about this a few episodes ago about like, look, it's just some guy trying to do a job. Like, it may
yeah,
not. Okay, so I at one point I was that guy doing the stats for college sports,
yeah, and
and
who
like
is
I'm
double
just a
checking?
dude
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
you're
do
just a
my
guy.
job.
I
I'm doing
think
the
you
best I
got
can.
that. Yeah, and there's
Yeah,
times where you're sitting there daydreaming, and you're like, oh shit, this is
yeah.
for that guy or that guy.
That
Or
and
is it
like
25 or
especially
26? Like
especially with basketball, it's so fast paced because you're like
rebound, assist. Okay, layup.
especially if
No, he
it's like
missed. He missed.
rebound, yeah, because you have to put in
Missed field goal.
rebound,
Yep.
miss field goal, rebound, miss field goal, and it's not like just rebound; it's offensive rebound. By then you have to put the number in, then you got to say shot by number
And
blank,
if the
and
possession's
then
going back and forth, one of those ones where the
yeah,
ball's like bouncing back and forth, you're like technically that's rebound each. Like
right,
it's
yeah,
just
is
like
that a
yeah, it's
rebound? Is
weird.
that a putback? Like yeah, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's real easy to mess that stuff up. And like look, you're doing the best you can. I like to
My thing is
think
at
that
this point,
everybody
like,
has some sort of integrity,
don't we have like
but
the doesn't the NBA have like the manpower or somebody like some kind of investigative firm that just cares enough to just be like, hey, take some time and watch all those episodes and count his assists. Like I feel like it can't be that hard
that's
to
a
do.
lot of wasted money, though.
I mean, it definitely is, but yeah, because I guess that's the
Like,
point. Is like who would do that and why. But I
yeah,
feel like it can't be like it's obviously not that difficult. It would just take time to do it. So like I feel like Reddit could get that done. Reddit could split up all the games and everybody goes through and like cross references and double checks each other's work, and we will figure out exactly how many true assists John Stockton had.
that's an option. Yeah. How about you start that on Reddit NBA?
Yeah, yeah, I will. I'll do my
Okay,
best.
cool.
I'll need your help probably finding that, but I'm just kidding. I know what I'm doing now. Yeah, so Kevin Durant still really good at basketball. No surprise there. There was a clip the other day that went viral just because it was like this man is still swarming people on defense. Like he plays like he's 20 years old still on defense, which is just insane to see, especially because he's 7 foot 37 tall and has an 80-foot wingspan. Like he just looks like Slender Man to begin with. So
Yeah.
it's insane to see him like shifting feet and moving his waist and getting ahead of people and like stopping dribbles and blocking 3-point shots. Like he just like manhandle older brother this like 3-point shot and then just like real casually tossed out like an outlet pass, and it was like you just took that man's manhood. Like his family's probably in the stands, and it was just an average defensive play for KD. So
Yeah.
um other big thing is Jimmy Butler trade rumors. Has mentioned the Rockets and the Warriors as two of the teams that he would like to go to. The Mavericks as well. So I mean, Jimmy and any one of those teams, those are three like legitimate franchise. The Rockets are kind of up and coming, but yeah, Jimmy Butler out of the Eastern Conference and out of the Heat is a good idea for me as a Celtics fan. I'll take that all day, every day. So yeah, get
Yeah.
him out of there because he's always just kind of a problem for us.
Right.
And then last two things I have. One exciting kind of NBA on Christmas Day, kind of getting threatened with the NFL stepping in, starting to have some Christmas Day games like we had talked about before. Aside from the regular Sunday games, I wish they would just step off. Like they can have Thanksgiving, take over New Year's from college football. I don't care. Like take over another holiday, have like a Halloween game or something. I don't care. Like it just sucks that the NFL is pushing it on Christmas.
Yeah.
So I believe it's on Netflix too this year. So like we're
It
gonna
is.
stream it
Yeah.
on your phone. Like it's just like an odd setup, but is what it is. Other than that, last thing I have is your poor Philadelphia sports. As you said, just Philly being Philly. I have a weird perspective now on Embiid where I feel like I'm the only one maybe because Philly is like this guy's a fucking asshole. We hate you. Play basketball better, but I like kind of feel bad now. Like I feel like He's like really put his body on the line and probably has like no feeling or cartilage left in his knees. He probably can't walk. Like the dude's toes are probably fucked up. Like his like when you really think about it, like his size and his body and the way he gets moved around, and that's basically what he said the other day. Is he's talking about his new knee injury that he has and that it's like re-aggravated or whatever, and that it just was quote depressing. And that was where I was like, dude, like this guy's really down bad. And Philly's just like, we don't care, play better. And so like it's just like, of course he would be in Philadelphia, one of the most ruthless fan bases of
Yeah.
all time. So yeah, so poor Embiid. Anywhere else, I feel like he would have just been like a solid dominant center, and people would just be like, "Wow, this is so cool. Thank God we have him." And instead, Philly just hates him for putting his body out there on the line. So like,
Okay, so I'm gonna defend my city a little bit.
yeah, no, I knew you were.
um,
I knew you were gonna say fucking Embiid and tell him to suck it up.
well, while you are correct that most other cities would be like appreciative and all that stuff,
Yeah,
we suffered all those years being told to trust the process, and this is what we got.
yeah.
Now, to
That's
your
not
credit,
his fault,
that's not
though.
his
Like,
fault.
yeah, like he never
But
said, "Hey, to draft me, you should give up like 9 years worth of effort and
right,
progress."
but like it's just
Yeah,
it's always
I get it,
something.
it sucks. Yeah, it sucks. Like
Um,
yeah, it's
and
like as a
so
Celtics fan, like we lucked out. Like we got Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum both third overall. Like they're
right,
both clear cut number one picks all day, every day. It just
right, you
happened to be the
redraft
drafts,
and yeah,
you redraft. You're fighting over that first
yes,
pick, and instead it's we got them both third and Markel Fultz and whoever else. Like yeah, it just
Ben
we won those
Simmons,
drafts.
yeah,
Yeah, Ben Simmons. Like that was the other one. So
yeah. So yeah, it's just it's tough as a it's I've said this my entire life. Look, the city of Philadelphia is not for everybody.
I'm telling
It's
you, it's not it.
just not. And it's one of those things where the city will embrace you as much as you embrace them, and just like it's a hardworking city. And I think the tides really turned when the reports came out that Tyrese
Max
Maxey
back.
called him out for showing
Oh
up
yeah,
late,
being late and stuff. Yeah,
and like
yeah.
that shit doesn't fly in Philly.
Uh-uh.
Like that city, it's one. I would argue it's the biggest blue collar city in the United States because it's just filled with hardworking
Probably
people,
close. Yeah, yeah.
and like we don't
You have to be
have
an anomaly because you're not getting that on the West Coast or
right
Midwest. Or like,
exactly.
it's just a different type of work ethic. And over here, somebody said that before. I think it was on the Rogan podcast where he was like, "Dude, anybody born in the Northeast, like, just don't fuck with it." He's like, "They're cold all year round." He's like, "They're miserable. Like those people wake up 7 or 8 months a year and just go." Fuck. He's like,
Yeah.
that literally is their life, like 8 months a year. He's like, you just don't mess with those. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he mentions. And he's like, Philly, Jersey, New York. And he's like, just fucking don't. He's like, it's not worth your time
Yeah,
to fuck with those
it's
people.
really not.
It's not. It's just not. Yeah.
Yeah, and they love their sports. The
Yeah.
entire East Coast does. When you get to these major cities, like you look at
Yes.
Boston, New York, Philadelphia,
Yeah, yes.
Baltimore,
Pittsburgh,
Washington,
Baltimore,
Pittsburgh,
it's-
yeah.
Yep.
Like you get to these big
I wish
cities,
Pittsburgh had a
and
basketball team.
and
That would be so fun.
I despise that whole city and their
Me too.
color
I
coordinating.
want a
It's
basketball
so
team to
dumb.
hate. Like I want a black and yellow team from their team to hate. Like I want to be like, yeah, fuck them. Like I know right away because they're from Pittsburgh. I hate that team. So like that's why I want them to have a team. So I know I have
Fair
another team
enough.
to just fucking hate.
Fair enough. But yeah, I'll use that as a way to transition into the NHL because my only note about this is the Flyers are somehow holding a wild card spot right now. They're
I know
two
you were
games.
down, but you were down bad on them to the start of the year.
So at one point they were the worst team in the league,
Okay.
and now they're up to a wild card spot. So they're on a little bit of a heater right now, and
No
they
pun intended because they play on ice.
yes, and they brought the record back up. They're above 500, and with the 4 overtime losses, that puts them in the wild card spot. So, I mean, look, I absolutely hate John Tortorella, the head coach. He's makes questionable decisions at best. I hated him when he was with New York, the Rangers. I don't think he's a good head coach. He rubs people the wrong way, and it's just hard to respect that. So I don't know. He's doing his job though. Like the Sixers aren't setting the bar high, so he's kind of lucky in that aspect because the city of Philadelphia always compares the Sixers and the Flyers, given that they're playing at the same time in the same building, and so he's doing what he has to do. But
I
like,
don't know why I know his face. Did he do any like analyst stuff? Was he a commentator for a little while, or has he been like coach?
he
'Cause I just
might have
looked him up,
done
and
some
as soon as I saw his face
commentation.
right away, I was like, "Oh, I know that guy. Like I've seen that guy."
Yeah, If
He's
I had
probably
to
has a
guess,
hockey face.
he was probably on ESPN as a hockey guy.
What's the other guy? Barry
Barry Melrose.
Melrose. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I love Barry Melrose.
Yeah. I love hockey players in general. They're always a blast
Yes.
to commentate
Which
and hang
also,
out with.
shame on us. We never mentioned the Biz fight. That dude that beat up those 6 drunk golf guys in the
Oh
bar.
yeah.
We went over that. Like I listened to it for like another, like the next day I listened to PMT and I was like, I can't believe we forgot to mention. I watched the video like 10 times and I was like, of the guys in the golf club earlier. And I'm like, I was on Twitter watching all the thread coming and I was like,
Yeah.
please let this blow up. Like, please let this like circle back around and like. But yeah, well, yeah. Shame on us for not mentioning that. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, I just love the hockey players in general because like they're always really chill. But it's like that dude would absolutely fuck you up.
Yeah.
Like, don't put.
It's just like there's a certain type of toughness in hockey that you just don't get in other sports. It's like
Yeah.
I always equate it to the big guy that was raised on the farm and the big guy that was raised in a gym. They are not the same big guy. They
Right.
may weigh the same and be able to put up the same
And
stats, but
hockey
that guy
players are
on the farm,
typically both. They grew up
yeah,
on a Canadian
yeah,
farm and also
right,
went to the gym and then know how
yeah,
to dance around on ice skates. So
yeah.
it's just
And
like
you want
yeah,
to
like
talk about
they
those people being cold and miserable all their lives? Hockey players.
Canada, eh? Like yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they're
Yeah,
like, how am I going to take out this aggression? Do I want to catch a
Eastern
hard
Europe.
football or do I
Yeah,
want to smother people on the ice? And yeah,
right.
so yeah, it's a clear cut decision for them.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's just like dudes get teeth knocked out and they're like, "Let me play," or like the one dude had a heart attack on the ice and still wanted to go back in the game.
The
Like,
dude the other day got hit with a slap shot by his own teammate. The stick
yeah,
hit him in the face. It
yeah,
said he went to the locker room for repairs and then returned and scored 2 more goals. And I was like, repairs? Like they had to like sew his cheek the fuck
they
back
probably
together and then
glued
like
it.
glued it and put shit
Yeah,
in his mouth and swelled it out. He said, "Okay, I'm good." And he just like went back out there and played. I was like, that's kind of insane. I was
yeah.
like, that is pretty crazy.
It's nuts when you
Yeah,
see
it's
the
just
injuries
different.
these guys get and they're just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go back on the ice." I'm like, "What?"
Why? Yeah,
Yeah,
why?
it's just
You good?
crazy.
You got hit that hard in your head that you think you can go back out there?
Yeah. Um, anything to add about UFC? I think there was a
Nope, nothing
fight
right
this
now. Yeah,
weekend,
yeah,
right?
there was. Yeah, that
Small
past
one.
weekend there was. Yeah, it was a small fight. That's I watched it. There was a couple good fights. It was as expected. The third fight in was bigger than the main. Like it just was
Oh,
more
okay.
exciting. But yeah, 2025 they are gearing up. They're starting to add big name fights coming back. The Conor McGregor call out. John Jones is supposed to fight again.
Okay, so I saw an interview with Bo Nix, who went to the UFC, right? Do I have the right guy? From the Penn State wrestler that went there? Maybe it wasn't Bo Nix. Who's the Penn State
Bo
wrestler?
Nickel. Bo Nix
Bo
is the
Nickel.
Broncos quarterback.
That's it.
Bo Nickel. That's how I was
That's
like,
it.
wait, Bo Nix went to. I was like, wait, Bo Nix
Yeah.
fought in the UFC. I was like, wait.
You're right.
Okay, yeah,
Bo
Bo
Nickel.
Nickel. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
He did an interview the other day about having UFC at State College. He
That would be
wanted
so
he
sick.
wanted to do like like when Penn State has one of their big wrestling duels against like Iowa, do like Penn State Iowa on a Friday night college wrestling duel, and then Saturday night
Saturday night
UFC
event.
with like him, and I guess there's somebody in UFC that went to Iowa. It was a wrestler.
Yeah,
And he was
that
like
would be
he was just
sick.
like floating that idea, and I was like, I mean, it's a good idea.
What
like,
is what's that?
the Bryce Jordan Center? Yeah, I don't know how many people it sits.
I mean, MSG is 19,000. Bryce Jordan is 15. It's like that's not crazy.
That's also probably with a
And
basketball.
T-Mobile
field.
Arena is 20,000, which is what they usually do in Vegas.
Right.
So yeah, Bryce Jordan is right in there. Good
Yeah.
idea, Bo Nickel. Good job, bud.
Yeah,
I'm all
so
for
I
it.
was
I'm
like,
gonna start-
I
I'm
was
gonna
like,
start
oh,
mentioning that all the time.
was like,
UFC,
that'd be
UFC to Penn State.
yeah.
You heard
So-
it here first. So yeah, look, see this is PMT plug. This is my PMT plug. They always do this where one of them will say something and then the other one will go, "Is that what people are saying?" And then they'll go, "Well, I'm people and I said it, so that's what people are saying." Like they create their own rumors all the time. We're like, I have people that are saying, and then they'll put up a graphic where it's like people have started to say this person this at the bottom. It's like the people are just PMT. Like it's just to be clear, this is what we mean.
Fair enough. So yeah, that'd be a cool thing. You'd get a huge turnout for that. Penn State wrestling is a cult in the state of Pennsylvania. So
Yeah.
to then kind of expose them to UFC would be interesting as well. The night after. Moving along though, into F1 this past weekend, they wrapped up their season in Abu Dhabi. Lando Norris wins the race, wins with winning the race, he won the McLaren Constructors Championship. Um, so that's each team basically has two cars, and they add up both of the cars' points to the constructor. So like both of McLaren's cars, they won the
Mm-hmm.
championship, and that's also how they
Oh,
hand out all the money.
team.
So
Nice.
Max Verstappen wins the World Drivers' Championship, but his teammate Sergio Perez was shit this year. Sorry, Mexico fans. Um, and so it allowed McLaren and Ferrari to jump them and win the Constructors' Championship. Hamilton, my guy Lewis Hamilton, had his last race with Mercedes. Heck of a drive from like 17th, I think, up to finishing fourth. So just crazy drive. Not to mention Charles Leclerc, who finished third. He went from 19th to third. So props to him and the Ferrari. And then silly season begins, meaning that this is like when they start defining all the seats for next year and who's going where and all the fun stuff that like silly season just make shit up and start rumors. People were saying, as you said.
People are saying. People are
Um,
saying.
yeah.
You said it. Your people. Some people
Yeah.
have said.
Yep. But to be fair, Ferrari and Cadillac agreed to an engine deal. So Cadillac, who's coming to the sport next year, or 2 years, sorry, 2026, will be running Ferrari engines. In Formula One, that's the only thing you're allowed to kind of rent or buy from other teams is engines. Everything else has to be built by you, hence the constructor part of it.
Interesting.
So it should be good. I believe they signed Cadillac signed shit, what is his name? Daniel Ricciardo. Um,
I know that name too.
yeah, he's pretty popular. He drove for Red Bull and
Yep.
then left, and then was in a few other teams. He got out this season, so he'll be back in a seat. That's kind of cool to see. And I think they have a seat open, so uh, that wraps up Formula One for the year, though. They'll be back in, I believe, January for testing, and then February they start their season back up again.
I'm gonna do this cool thing at work tomorrow where I just walk up to somebody and go, "Did you hear? People are saying that Lewis Hamilton's leaving F1 to go to NASCAR," and then just walk away. And just be like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, dude, I don't know. Sources are telling me, man. People are talking. I'm just saying, people
Yeah.
are talking. It's silly season. We don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Um, so that wraps up all of our sports, I believe. I don't.
Yeah, just about everything.
Yeah.
Bears, Hershey Bears, killing it right now, first in the league. Kaylee and I were
Back to
doing some
first,
Christmas
okay.
shopping today, and we considered that, and decided that like with the season already started, we'll probably push it off till next year. Like, and I told her, I was like, if we're home in PA, I was like, we need to be like Senator fans, Bears fans. Like, I want to
Yeah.
get the kids there, get that exposure, like have them be able to bring a friend and just always go to those games. Like, I remember when
You
we were
should be
kids,
looking into Senators ticket packages now.
Yes, that's what I talked about. I
Yeah.
said yes, to get set up for next year. I said so the Senators, the Bears. I said depending on where the boys go and like where their interest lies, I said we can look at Penn State or the Eagles or the 76ers. I said you just kind of start figuring out what like they're going to appreciate
Yeah.
most. I said because right now they don't really know the difference of a Cumberland Valley game or an Eagles Super Bowl. Like,
Right.
they have no idea. But I was like at the same time like the crowd is much more invested. It's like at an NFL game, like you get
Right.
people high fiving, cheering, and screaming and yelling. Like they're going to feel
Yeah.
off that energy. So. We have Bears first in the league still right now. They're killing. I believe it was 17-5 and they're in first place. And then LOL, ha 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 ha. Our notes for the Harrisburg Stampede unfortunately come to a close already after like less than a year or so in business.
Yeah.
Or a little over a year, I guess. But
Yeah, for all of our listeners, we mentioned them on a episode, I think 2 or 3 episodes ago, maybe this time
Yeah.
last week.
And how much
And then
excited
literally
you
we
were?
went off air and I was uploading everything and I got the alert like on Facebook that it was like, hey, the dude for the Harrisburg Stampede just closed the team. So
yeah.
that was just kind of a
it's just like
sim moment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're like we just talked about that. But
Yeah.
so it was it was one where I saw today and this again the guy that knows it that runs it I know him this was through some mutual friends and stuff and he's done some work on like sports like the framing of the jerseys and stuff for some
Yeah.
friends before. But yes, he's a good dude. I did see though like they were doing like a 50% off sale of all like the merchandise and stuff and there's like signed footballs and stuff in there and I was like, oh, can we zoom in on the price? It was like $200 or $300 and I was like, dog, like I can probably get like an NFL team signed football for $400 or $500. I was like, that's kind of crazy. Like, come on now. But yeah, so I was like, all right, 50% off though. I was like, yeah, maybe. And I was like, but yeah, still. Like, I was like, I might snag a T-shirt though, just to show my support now that the league is closed. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that does suck. But yeah, other than that, Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we have then.
Yeah, that's all I got. I'll bring us up with a fun fact here. Uh, this one. Your eyeballs have a separate enclosed immune system than the rest of your body. If somehow the two became aware of each other, your body would think your eyes are invaders and literally attack and dissolve them.
New nightmare unlocked. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
What was the very first part you said? Is they're two separate immune systems.
Yeah,
So you have like your
so
whole body immune system, and then
yep.
your eyes have their own separate, intricate immune system.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary as fuck. That's terrifying.
Yeah, pretty wild. And so they technically see each other as foreign invaders. So if one invaded the other,
they don't know what each other are. So
yeah,
it's like, oh, I got to get rid of that.
The body
so
is
your
much
eyes
stronger
will
than
try
your
to kill
eyes.
your whole body, or your body kills your eyes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so
your body wins that fight probably 9 times out of 10.
A lot more than 9 out of 10, I think.
Yeah. So.
But all right, cool. Yeah, nice quick episode there. Let's getting into sports. It's
Enjoy
weird too
your
because we're
Wednesday
right in
morning.
kind of like the prime time of all these sports, but nothing crazy is happening right now. By like the next Wednesday or two, and honestly, right after New Year's, like that'll be whenever everything's really clicking, and then fireworks are shooting because playoffs are going to start happening. And...
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like we're hitting. I call it a sports lull because you get around the holidays and suddenly like shit gets kind of pushed aside where you're not as big of a fan because like you have Christmas parties and work parties and the actual holiday itself coming.
Yep. But at the same time, like it's like the most sports on
right,
at all. Like,
right.
Like,
but then it ends
have
and it's like, oh my god, I missed so much, and the playoffs are starting in 2 weeks. And,
yep.
Yeah.
This is the chaos season. Yeah. So mid to late December 15th until like January 2nd is just like it's a blur. Like we're gonna wake up and it's just a couple more days and all of a sudden it'll be New Year's. So.
Yeah, and personally, I'm getting excited. I needed to get cold again. Got a little warm, melted my ice. So
I love it. I saw 53 on the forecast last week and was like, yes, take
I
me
was
to that
so
day.
sad.
Take me to that day.
So sad.
Yeah.
Anyways, I hope you all enjoy your Wednesday. Like and subscribe. Rate us if you're listening on Spotify.
Subscribe, follow. Tag.
Yeah. Whatever it is for whatever you're listening on. We appreciate you.
Whatever tickles the fancy.
Hope you have a good Wednesday. We will catch you Thursday evening for...
Oh, yeah. Who is it?
Rams at 49ers. So...
Which now is a playoff contention type game. I mean, 49ers are
yeah,
behind,
they're both technically trailing the Seahawks, but it's a big game.
Trust the Seahawks,
yes, I do trust the Seahawks. Actually,
oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I don't know. I still just don't trust it.
But yeah, no more bye weeks, so we get all 16 games for the next 4 weeks.
We have 4 p.m. games.
Yeah,
which is
four because there's 2 Monday night games.
That's right. We have the double Monday night game this week. It's Bears, Vikings, and then Falcons, Rams, I believe.
Falcons, Raiders.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rams,
so it's kind of like but I guess better than nothing.
Watch the Bears get beat up. So.
Yeah. So all right, guys. Appreciate y'all. Take care.
See you guys later.